Good morning and welcome to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Hump Day. Here we are, Wednesday, 13th day of December. Glad to have you aboard.
Yes, and hopefully you are in the holiday spirit. And if you're not, head down to Plant Riverside. They have a lovely Christmas market that you can attend and get you in the spirit.
Excellent. And did you hear about the great new place down on Riverside where you can celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah at the same time?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Frankincense and Murray's. I think you ought to try it out. There.
Okay.
But seriously, folks, glad to have you aboard here this morning. And one of the things that it was so exciting is during the Christmas season, we have talked to you about families that have stayed at the Ronald McDonald House all these years and over the years, and what they have done to help families has just been absolutely amazing. Where they charge $10 a night if you can afford the $10. And while their children are being treated at the Children's Hospital, a wonderful Children's Hospital that we have here. And let me say something, you're always seeing these ads for St. Jude's, and I'm sure Danny Thomas has this wonderful mansion in heaven for what he did establishing St. Jude's Children's Hospital. But they get donations in the range of $1 million a day. We have a great local children's hospital here that you should be supporting. And sometimes when I go into these restaurants or go into a fast food place, I said, would you like to donate $1 or X amount of money to St. Jude? I said, why don't you do it for our hospital here? And I think maybe some of the places are. So just remember, we have a great children's hospital here, great staff, and the Ronald McDonald House houses a lot of these people who sometimes their kids are they're from out of town. They may have to drive 50 miles to come in to see their kid, whereas they could stay right across the street at Ronald McDonald House. And they've got a big fundraising campaign that's about to get underway because they are building another Ronald McDonald House. So they can double or triple the capacity because they're turning away 12 to 15 families a day who want to stay there. They try to accommodate them as much as possible and finding motels and hotels nearby, but they can't stay there for $10 a night. But one of the great things that Ronald McDonald House does is do this. And while these people are there, they don't have any money for shopping for their kids. Either their kid, or usually they have, mostly people have siblings. So the other children are whole and hearty, but they're being neglected to a degree because they've got no money for Christmas. But thanks to you and my good buddy Scott Rifen at WTKS and WGIG, keeping the torch lit, and something that we started and I helped start about 7 years ago, was Shop with a Cop. And people donated. They thought they were going to do 10 families. They were looking to get $10,000, so each family would have $1,000. They got $12,000 able to help 12 families.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so they gathered yesterday at the Ronald McDonald House, and then it was off to the Target on Victory Drive. And here you see the cops coming in, and we had cops from Rincon, Garden City. Let's see, who am I leaving out? Tybee. The Savannah police weren't there this year. I don't know why, but sometimes they're short-staffed or something. Pooler, and they came in and helped out, and were shopping. Garden City, I think I said Garden City, and you see one of the Garden City cops there. And for several of them, it was the first time that they had done this, and they're just as excited about doing this as the kids are, and the parents are so grateful, have a great time, and they're coming in, they're getting all their shopping carts ready, and heading down the aisles to go pick out all the presents and everything. And they were able to, and they said, look, this money is for you. We say that you're getting $1,000 each, but $900 of it has to be spent at Target. The other $100 you can keep for whatever you might need otherwise, food and things of that nature. But they said that you can buy needs as well as wants. So they could buy diapers, they could buy some food items and things of that nature. So what a great tribute in this day and age. And we're going to have more on this, an extensive presentation to you on Monday with Scott Rifen, as well as Billy Soracek, the Executive Director and CEO of Ronald McDonald House of the Coastal Empire, which is right on the Memorial Campus, right across the street from that fabulous children's hospital that we have here. So once again, thanks to the community for coming forward, and in a time of inflation and everything else, that they've come forward with this kind of money to help these people shop. And it was just wonderful. So we'll be talking with some of the cops. One of the families that we talked to, they were there with their 6-month-old child that needed a liver transplant.
Wow.
So they needed their first operation 44 when he was 44 days old, and but he needs a liver transplant, and so they're going to be back at Ronald McDonald House for some time to come. Great stories and wonderful success from you for your generosity here during this Christmas season, so these people could have Christmas really first class.
Yeah, and if you weren't in the spirit, I think that probably got you there today.
That'll do it. Yes, sirree. And once again, these cops were just going around, just having the best time, helping with the families, helping pick up some of the heavier stuff if they wanted to get carriages and baby carriers and things like that. So really, just a great time yesterday, as always, and the weather was fantastic. So couldn't have had a better day for it.
Very good. Well, and I think sometimes we forget that Christmas is not only about receiving gifts, but also doing things for others. And there are plenty of opportunities for that in the community. So I highly recommend finding those opportunities because you do feel good when you are able to give back to someone else that maybe has less than you do. So
I kept looking around for the rest of the media, but they weren't there. I don't know why. Somebody must have been bleeding someplace because I'm looking at all the websites. You said you heard at WTOC.
Yeah,
I may have covered it.
Yeah,
but it's not on their website. So I was looking at the websites of all the three nationally owned stations. So those of you advertising with them, how about advertising with us? We're locally owned and we cover local stuff. We don't cover it up. So please help us out rather than the nationally owned stations that are told by corporate what they can and can't cover. But let me just look at say lawsuit. Effingham County store received reports of this guy was a pedophile working as Santa Claus. Savannah police investigating a shooting in the 200 block of Birdfield Drive, wherever that is. Let's see. Superintendent addresses concerns about the future of New Hampstead. One of the most, at least one important story there. Savannah police searching for a person of interest in a murder case. Effingham County Sheriff's Office searching for a guy wanted for a shooting. Those are important enough stories to cover, but shop with a cop apparently not so much.
Well, and last night I was unable to attend the meeting at New Hampstead, but I did have some people that were there, and they said that parents are upset. They feel like there's been no long-term planning when it comes to these moves between the schools. I can't blame them. I would be very upset if my child was moving every 2 years, and there's no consistency. And I think one of the things was that the new superintendent, Dr. Watts, she did apologize for the lack of planning. She said that she was going to do her best to resolve it. And I think that that's something we did not see from the old superintendent was taking responsibility. So kudos to her. I'm looking forward to seeing how she's able to change this district. Jury's still out. She's still pretty new. She got here in July. So we'll see what happens. But definitely a lot of parents upset about the lack of planning. Some of them would like to see another Pooler High School. And I mean, New Hampstead has not been open that long.
No, it hasn't.
It's a
relatively
fairly new school.
Yeah.
So,
less than 20 years old.
Yeah. So, but they were talking about grandfathering in some of those kids into those schools. But a lot of people upset, and transportation's a huge issue. Yes,
yeah, it should be.
So a lot of issues within our school system that are hopefully going to get resolved. There are some school board elections this year. I believe District 1, 2, 3, and 7 are up this year. So make sure you're doing your research and making sure that these people represent you. And they are sticking up for your values and what they say they're going to do.
Yeah. So call and tell all your friends and have a little conclave, have a little coffee clatch or something, and get together and say, this is who stands up for our values. This is who we ought to vote for.
Well, and the real disappointing thing, Bill, is that there was less than 60 people there in that room last night, and it impacts so many more than that. And it's just really hard to have that community or parental involvement these days. And I don't know how you get there, but we need to figure it out.
The rest of them are complaining.
Huh?
Only 60 people made it to the meeting. I bet the other parents involved are still complaining.
Oh, yes.
But you're not going to do anything about it?
Yeah. You're not going to get results. Yeah. You're not going to get results if you're not participating.
Sitting on the sidelines.
Yes, well, and those people basically represent everyone. So those 60 people really do control the conversation. And, there are some people that were a little bit upset about that as well, that there were so few people there and they're making determinations off of the people there instead of the whole community. But if the whole community doesn't get involved, nothing you can do. So very interesting stuff going on. I do think that we'll see how 2024 goes. I'm still going to be strapping in for 2024 because I do think it's going to be a wild ride. A lot of predictions are going out there. Maybe there will be some assassinations. Maybe there will be war with Russia in October. People are predicting that will be the October surprise.
No.
So, just fasten your seatbelts, folks.
Well, we had the well-dressed Volodymyr Zelensky in yesterday at the White House, and he makes more trips to America. I think he spends more time out of the country than he does in the country.
Well, I would like to know how much he's spending coming to America because they've spent quite a bit of money. And he mentions, the thing that makes me so mad is he's like, you should be paying our pensions.
Yeah.
No, we should not.
No, we shouldn't.
We should not. I think that he has.
How about the rest of Europe stepping up to the plate? It's in your backyard, for God's sake.
Well, and the jig's up. Honestly, I think people are sick and tired of giving away money when we have our own problems here. I saw more video footage of stuff in Chicago yesterday. They would not allow someone to approach the mayor because you can't do that. The mayor of Chicago avoids all of the press, has tons of protection, a lot of bodyguards, has a private elevator that he goes into the Capitol with. Very interesting stuff going on in Chicago, but definitely selling them out. People are staying at precincts. They have over 56 locations in which they're housing illegal immigrants.
Well, you voted for this guy. You had a chance to reform. You had a chance to get a good candidate in there. At least one that would do something.
At least a moderate.
Yeah.
At least a moderate.
Yeah, right. You elected somebody that was what was a Lori Lighthead.
Was left of her.
Yeah, left of her, which is a feat.
Yes, and I think that Chicagoans are realizing the impact of their vote because I don't think that they've ever felt overlooked or that people were getting stuff that they weren't getting. I know that other parts of the population have felt that way, but I think this is the first time that we've seen these communities be impacted by, another community that happens to be.
So how does it feel now that you're on the outside looking in from a standpoint of for years you had the black community leaders who were demanding, they're asking for you're not asking for equal rights. You're asking for privileges.
You're asking to be special.
Yeah. And now, all of a sudden, you're put on the back burner because somebody else should be getting special privileges. Somebody who doesn't deserve them, hasn't worked for them, doesn't belong here in the first place. Now, do not infer, because I know that the media matters cretins all around try to twist our words here. And we work without a net. We're live, and we have no script. But I don't mean that the blacks don't belong here. I am talking about the fact that the illegal aliens do not belong here. And they shouldn't be making all these demands for money. They shouldn't be coming across the border and getting a $50, $5,000, I'm sorry, yeah, even 50 would be too much.
Like
but 50. A $5,000 gift card and then told about their Social Security rights and everything else. No, they don't have any Social Security rights. I have Social Security rights because I paid into the system for almost 50 years.
Well, especially when you look at someone my age, and I will never see Social Security, even though I've paid into it my entire life. So it's disgusting what they're doing. And I think that people are realizing. I also saw a video of a bunch of people in the Bronx that were like, bring back Trump. We had money. Like if he comes back in. But here's the other thing that people don't understand. You bring Trump back in, it's not going to immediately get better.
Oh, no.
They have done so much damage since he's been president that it's going to take us probably a decade or two of recovery from what they've done.
At least, and this is the important thing to remember. When Ronald Reagan first went into office, it took him. It was 2 years or more before he actually got the ship turned around. from the horrible administration under Jimmy Carter, because inflation was in double figures, and it took a while to and also to convince Congress that this was the thing to do.
Well, and just a really quick note, they're showing that Trump is up in Michigan 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, they are inflating these polls, so we quit working. So don't stop working. Make sure you keep talking to people, getting people to realize what is going on, and get them out to vote and vote for the Republican.
Pretend like you're behind. And by the way, we still have, 11 months in politics is a long time.
Oh.
So today's polls don't mean anything more than yesterday's newspaper.
Yeah, but I think they're going to continue to inflate these poll numbers so that people think that, we got this. That's right. We don't need to do any work. We still have to work, people. And it starts now. It starts today. And get ready for 2024. Yep.
Double down. All right, coming up next.
Well, Zelensky's doubling down, and
sure is.
We'll let you know what he's asking for now.
Stay real.
What happened?
Well, when you opened up the Chewy box, you went a bit...
bonkers. That's one word for it.
I guess I blacked out. This is the best squeaky toy ever.
Probably shouldn't, but we did get you a few more gifts.
Honey...
Ooh, there's more.
Chewy's prices were so great.
You don't need to explain yourself, Linda. Keep on saving.
Pets aren't just pets. They're more.
Well, I hope I got a leaf blower this year.
You got a turtleneck.
Unwrap the excitement this holiday season with great deals from Chewy.
Foxy Loxy, Coffee Fox, and Henny Penny, making life better for Savannahans with their kolaches, tacos, coffees. They're just amazing. Buy local and keep the torch lit.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Glad to have you aboard on this Wednesday, hump day, and the 13th day of December. We have 44 degrees and mostly clear skies outside.
Yes, it is chilly. Very chilly.
Just a little.
Bill, Zelensky has become this person that shows up when he wants to take big bags of money back to Ukraine.
Yeah, I used to like this guy, and now not so much.
Yeah.
Every time we turn around, we need to fight this war. When did we lose the ability to fight wars to win? Is what I want to know. When
it became a business.
Okay.
And Zelensky over here asking for more money, of course, and he's trying to tell you how you should be supporting them and why.
You say to critics who are saying that?
I say such person from government or mayors think about the war, think about how to defend our people. Don't travel through the world each day. Travel to the front line. Ask people, ask soldiers what they need. Do this. Not build roads for today. Don't do it. Spend all your money to the weapon, to the drones, to the society, to the pensions, and etc. And don't cry, because you are leaders, and that's it. That's why we are, and that's why we stay, because mostly people are not crying. People stay and fight against Putin, and we don't have any enemies in our country. We can't have time for this, and we don't have it. We have only one enemy. This is Putin, and that's it.
But you'll stand from democracy going
Yes,
forward.
of course, and of course, because we are really defending democracy, and we are really defending freedom.
Mr. President, we appreciate your time, and we'll continue
Thank you.
to follow the war.
Just a question. Didn't he just stop elections from happening?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. For democracy, of course.
Yeah.
They're at war, so they can't.
Precious democracy.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Bill. We've given them so much money. We don't know where the money is. There's no accounting for the money.
We've given them, I think, more money than Russia has in their defense budget.
Yeah. And honestly, it's not our border. I mean, we have our own problems here at home. I know that with this administration, they don't care and they don't want the border to be protected. So that's not really an argument that we can use against these people because, you know, they're basically money laundering. They're getting kickbacks somehow from this Ukraine war. Not really sure all of the connections, but definitely very odd how forceful they're being about giving money to Ukraine, and that this is the biggest issue of our time when most of the American people do not support it. We're sick of giving money to everyone when we have infrastructure issues here. We have serious problems here at home. We have veterans that are on the streets, and we're allowing illegals to have encampments here.
And we're putting more veterans on the street by kicking them out of resting homes and others for illegal aliens. We need to close the border immediately, if not sooner.
And I don't see it happening under this president. I don't think that he has any intention of securing that
Oh, of
border.
course not. No.
I believe he called it a, actually, he did call it an extreme Republican partisan agenda. And I think if we can go to clip 9, I believe we have that from Biden.
Holding Ukraine funding hostage in the attempt to force through an extreme Republican partisan agenda on the border is not how it works. We need real solutions.
I can't believe he said that, Bill. It's extreme to want to close our border.
Yeah.
It's extreme not to want to give money to an endless war that I don't see an end to. Do you?
No. We've been in so many quagmires now. I think they understand the way people have been raised that that's how wars work. Once it starts, it never ends.
Yeah.
We studied in world history the 100 Years' War. Well, here we are in another one.
Well, here's the other thing, Bill. People my age, we are done. We've seen so many of the people that we grew up with go to war, not come home, or come home and be a totally different person. We're done with it. We do not want to send our people over there to die. For what? I mean, I feel bad for people that, you know, watch the whole Afghanistan thing unfold because it's right back to where it was before we went to war. So what was it for? And how many people died because of it? It's just, these people are irresponsible. The people that are running our country do not care about Americans.
It's, I don't know, because, and I put this all back on our public school system as much as anything. The way we've been raised over the 3 or 4 generations, or a couple of generations that have gone through because when I was in school, the people who were teaching me in the early days, like, you know, elementary school, some were World War I vets or were alive during World War I.
They actually had experience or so sort of depth to them.
Yeah, exactly. And all of them were World War II vets, and by vets I don't mean they necessarily served, because most of our teachers were women in those days. I don't think I had a male teacher till the seventh or eighth grade.
Oh, wow.
So they were all mostly it was mostly a women's profession, especially in the elementary schools and middle schools. Well, we called it junior high in those days. I don't know why they changed it to middle school. I'm not going to die on that hill, but still, I don't know why we went from junior high to does junior seem to have some sort of a demeaning? Is that a demeaning
Maybe it
phrase
was
or
too
something?
empowering. I'm not really
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know, but I like the term junior high a lot better than middle school. What kind of stupid name is that? But these people were American. We were taught American history. We were taught to love America. We were singing "Oh Columbia, the Gem of the Ocean." We were singing "God Bless America" in class, saying the Pledge of Allegiance. The Bible was on the teacher's desk, and somebody read from the Bible in homeroom every morning. And so we had these values instilled in us about the greatness of America. They talked about Pearl Harbor. They talked about it so much I thought I was there. We didn't try to sweep it under the rug, and nobody was asking after the Japanese bombed us of saying, what did we do to make them mad? Why? Let's see what we can do to placate them and see what we can do then. What did we do to make them mad? Why do they hate us so much? No, it wasn't any of that. It was like, we're going to go bomb your butt, and we're going and I'm sorry. And even General Yamamoto, who was one of the architects of the Pearl Harbor attack, realized he'd put his foot in a bucket of excrement right after the attack. And one of the great lines that he had, and if you're going to watch a great movie about it, watch Tora, Tora, Tora from 1971. Don't watch that Disney Pearl Harbor thing that was a piece of crap that came out just a few years back. Go to Tora, Tora, Tora. That is the one that really tells the story from both sides. And Yamamoto says right after the attack, he said, I fear that we have awakened a sleeping giant and filled him with a terrible resolve. And we fought the wars to win in those days. It was bombs away over Tokyo, and I'm sorry if there was collateral damage, but you started this, and we're going to finish it.
Well, and I think that's the other thing that people don't understand about war is that there are things that are uncomfortable. There are things that are, there's an evilness to war. That's reality.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But we have Lizzie Warren with us today. She says the open border is the destruction of American culture.
Yep.
And Steve Stanton Sr. says we called it junior high, so 50 years later we could date ourselves, Bill. LOL.
Excellent point.
Yeah. So I just, what has to happen in the next, 5 years? I would say a majority of Americans might not be able to stomach, Bill. I think the mass deportation is going to be ugly. I don't think it's going to be something that anyone wants to see. But unfortunately, they've allowed all of these people to come in. We don't know who they are. And they're draining all of our resources.
Uh-huh.
I think that's the plan. But I think Americans have had enough. I mean, the well is dry. There is no more money. Like, you cannot keep taxing us at 50, 60%. Like, we can't do it.
Go back and look at history, and no society or civilization has been able to stay free on a tax system that takes over half of your money.
Well,
it all goes to slavery.
When you worked half the year and then that's basically all government money and the rest of it you get to take home, like, when you look at it that way,
yeah.
I mean, it's pretty disheartening.
Yeah. Well, we used to have a tax-free day that keeps getting pushed back. In other words, if you had to pay all of your taxes at once, you didn't get a paycheck until all your taxes were paid for the year. You wouldn't get a check until June.
Oh, that's terrible, Bill.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
That's how bad it is. And that's what we've said. The fair tax will pass as soon as people have to start paying taxes individually. You have to sit down every month, write a check to the federal government, write a check to the state government, write a check to the county government, write a check to the local government, and you see how much money's going out.
Well, here's the other thing, Bill, that I heard, that young people would rather continue to go in debt, not sacrifice anything, and live in the moment. So when you have a generation that thinks that way, and we have how much in debt right now? Over $1 trillion in credit card debt?
Yeah. For the first time.
I don't know what that's going to look like, Bill, but it's going to be real ugly.
Yeah.
Really ugly.
Even though we're going to reelect Donald Trump, he's not going to be able to turn this ship around.
No, people need to be accountable for themselves.
Yeah.
And we need to also start
he'll get us on the right track.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, because we need to reelect him. All right, coming up next.
Well, we're gonna see how Nancy Pelosi feels about border funding and giving money to Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. Can't wait.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance, with integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
Foxy Loxy, Coffee Fox, and Henny Penny, making life better for Savannahans with their kolaches, tacos, coffees. They're just amazing. Buy local and keep the torch lit.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Burr.
Thanks for being with us.
Yes, and continuing to talk about Ukraine, because this seems to be the sticking point, which, I mean, who knew that American policy would depend so much on foreign policy in order to get things done in our own country?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of ridiculous, but here we are. Nancy Pelosi definitely heeding a warning to Republicans.
Yeah.
My pleasure, but remember, the longer they take for Ukraine, more people will die, more women will be raped, more children will be kidnapped, and it'll be all on them. We have to get them to move.
Thank you, Nancy Pelosi. Because you mean like what's happening in this country?
Yeah, I think that she's a fraud. She's running for re-election.
Yeah.
I mean,
because she said it's so important.
Give it up, lady.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that she has a good contender, because Nancy Pelosi is the last person we need to continue to be in Congress.
Stay home to help nurse your husband back to health, and continue eating your signature ice cream.
Yeah, well, she's worth enough money at this point. I have no idea why you'd want to stay in Congress. Live out the rest of your days at home in your big house in California. And I also think she bought a property in Florida, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, weird how that works.
It really is.
Since Florida is, so horrible to live in, according to anyone from California.
And it's going to be underwater any minute now with the melting ice caps, according to the climate change people.
Well, which is interesting, because Nancy Pelosi, it was a beachfront property, of course, that she purchased.
So was the Dalai Lama.
Yeah, and
Peach buying a lot of stuff on the beachfront property.
Yes, well, and Lizzie Warren says, wait, Pelosi suddenly cares about raped and kidnapped women and children in Ukraine? What about the ones in Israel that happened to?
Yeah.
It's interesting that they
the
don't
ones
talk
here?
about... Well, it's also interesting that they don't talk about what's happening in Israel. They're only talking about Ukraine. So why is this country so important to these people? There is so many shenanigans going on with our country and with Ukraine. That's why Trump was impeached for having a phone call and asking questions. I also think that this impeachment stuff is going to move forward with Joe Biden, because there is so much evidence. Although I don't know if it'll be interesting to see if the Democrats have the backbone to vote for it. I think that they will, because I think they want to replace Joe Biden with, Gavin Newsom. So it'll be interesting.
Well, and yet we have the quid pro quo perfect with Biden talking about how he got the prosecutor fired in Ukraine.
That's on video.
Yeah.
That has been played so many times. And, And yet
they prosecute Donald Trump for what Biden did. It's the old Saul Alinsky rules for radicals: accuse the other side of what you're doing. And I find it disgusting.
It is
Absolutely
very disgusting. And Mary McKenna Hybrider's with us, and she says, what about our border invasion? Yeah, they don't talk at all about that on the Democrat side. It's amazing that they have...
What about the stories about our people getting killed by these illegal aliens?
There was a cheerleader in Texas.
Yeah.
A cheerleader in Texas, high school cheerleader.
16 years old.
Killed by illegal in this country. I mean, we heard one in Nebraska. I mean, they've been all over the country.
Yeah. And the blood's on their hands. because this shouldn't be happening. And the argument that they come back with that disgusts me the most, that, well, we have bad people in this country. We have bad people that commit all these crimes. Well, we don't need to import more.
Yeah, it doesn't mean we welcome them with open arms. We already have bad people, so we'll take you too.
Mm-hmm.
No. But I will say I'm interested to see Mike Johnson, also new in this role. It'll be interesting to see how he performs. He's never been in leadership before, and I do think that the power of the intel agencies is really getting to them. They are really pushing for FISA to be restored in full. I think the FISA courts are very, very dangerous. I think they need to dismantle them. It's one of the only courts, it is the only court, that they do not have a court recorder recording what happens in those courtrooms.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary to me. But Mike Johnson, this is what he had to say about giving aid to Ukraine yesterday.
Thank you all for being here. Just had a good meeting with President Zelensky. I reiterated to him that we stand with him and against Putin's brutal invasion. The American people stand for freedom, and they're on the right side of this fight. I have asked the White House since the day that I was handed the gavel as Speaker for clarity. We need a clear articulation of the strategy to allow Ukraine to win. And thus far, their responses have been insufficient. They have not provided us the clarity and the detail that we requested over and over since literally 24 hours after I was handed the gavel as Speaker of the House. And so what the Biden administration seems to be asking for is billions of additional dollars with no appropriate oversight, no clear strategy to win, and none of the answers that I think the American people are owed. I have also made very clear from day one that our first condition on any national security supplemental spending package is about our own national security first. The border is an absolute catastrophe, and this is because of the policies of this White House and this administration. We had 12,000 illegal crossings on one day last week alone, on Wednesday. We have almost now 280 known terrorists that have been apprehended at the border. None of this counts the gotaways. If you add the numbers up, it's almost 7 million people who have been encountered at the border just since President Biden took office, and at least 2 million gotaways. This is twice the population of my state of Louisiana. Fentanyl is the leading cause of death for Americans age 18 to 49 in this country. Fentanyl poisoning, because it's allowed over the border. We have human trafficking and all the other terrible things. In the last 3 months, October, November, December alone, we've had more illegal crossings at the border than in any entire year during the Obama administration. The American people see this, they feel it acutely, they see all the terrible societal ills that come from this, and it must be addressed. So I've made this very clear, again, from the very beginning, when I was handed the gavel. We needed clarity on what we're doing in Ukraine and how we'll have proper oversight of the spending of precious taxpayer dollars of the American citizens.
At least he's standing up for us. I do think that
I really like
it's a good sign. He does have a biblical worldview, which I think is very good.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we'll see how he does. There's immense pressure up there. I think that people don't understand how the lobbyists and the intel agencies, and I mean, a lot of pressure on these guys to do what other people want them to do, maybe not what's right. So,
the question you have to ask is, where are we getting this money? Well, we just all of a sudden, okay, we're gonna send so many $1 billion here. We're gonna send so many $1 billion there. Where is this coming from?
I think we're borrowing it from China, aren't we?
I believe we are.
And China doesn't have any money either.
They keep messing with their currency, and things aren't as manufacturing over there is not what it used to be. So they have their problems, and we could bring them to their knees if we wanted to, and that's something that we're going to have to do if we want to survive, because they want to take over the world, and it's not going to be pretty. We keep talking about the illegal aliens that are coming across here that are from China, and they're coming out. They're college age, military age, coming in well dressed. And they're coming in with all sorts of baggage, and I'm talking about their personal lives. I'm talking about the stuff that they're bringing in with them in bags, carry-on bags, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and Lizzie Warren says, "I wish I never had to repay my debt." I feel the same way.
Nice?
Although quietly, the Biden administration has been getting rid of people's student debt.
Yeah.
So I think that that's really interesting, and I wonder how they're picking these people to eliminate their debt.
Circumventing Congress once again. And they're trying to get this money to Ukraine by circumventing Congress once again and working on Ukraine's border and not ours. This is pathetic. And I don't know, what is the end game? Do they think these people are going to vote Democrat? Do they think is that what they're doing? That they're bringing in Democrat voters? How do they think this is going to end if we're not teaching people about America? People came here once upon a time to be Americans. I quoted Booker T. Washington yesterday, and about how the race industry goes back to his day, when he said, in quoting him, that there are a certain amount of colored people who want the rest of the race to stay in the gutter because they're making money out of it by going around crying poor mouth and how bad things are, and they don't want to lose their jobs. So they want the racial issue to remain. He died in 1915. His book, one of his most famous books, is Up from Slavery. He was a slave. He grew up being named Booker, and somebody asked him one day what his last name was, and he didn't know. He didn't have one. So we taught history so well back then. He said, "Well, I think the greatest American was George Washington. I'm going to pick the name Washington as my surname." That's how he became Booker T. Washington.
Well, and you hear colored people, which was considered racist, and I think if you say it now, people are like, "That's kind of a racist term."
That was standard. That was standard.
Right.
That was standard talk.
But now it's people of color.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's the difference?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
and who uses that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, the left.
Exactly. So very, very racist terminology that they continue to perpetuate.
And when was the last time you saw the term Negro on there? They refer to the old baseball teams when they were separated by race, the Negro Leagues, because that's what they were called. But you don't see it anywhere. I remember Ken Hamlin, the Black Avenger radio talk show host, years ago, said that the lady was filling out some paper forms, said, what race? Said, "I'm a Negro." She said, I can't put that down. I don't have that here. He said, "Why not? That's what I am." It was just unbelievable.
The language continues to change and evolve, and I think it does become quite dangerous. And I think that they have othered all of these people because now they're lumped into one race, people of color. So you're no longer Black or Hispanic you've been othered. Yeah. And I think that that's the whole goal, is that the trick with language is to basically disconnect what actually is happening. That's what they do with abortion. Abortion is meant to disconnect from the actual activity of killing a child. So it's very interesting how they've been very good at changing the language, and I think Republicans need to learn to fight back. And the American people, I think that this is bigger than Republican and Democrat. I think that this is really people that have been in charge of our country for a very long time versus the hardworking Americans that built this country and continue to make this country great. And I think that once we get to the point where we're not divided by Black and white and Republican and Democrat, and have real conversations, I think that that's where we can actually make a difference, Bill.
Mm-hmm. You need to get Michael Knowles has a best-selling book about this, about how changing the language means that they can actually change your perspective. It's not a baby, it's a fetus. It's just it's abortion rights. It's not murder. It's not infanticide. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and Lizzie Warren says the evolution of the language is deliberate to ensure the speaker is always at risk of misspeaking, and then you can be canceled, right? That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's okay to call for the genocide of Jews at Harvard and other schools, but you misuse a pronoun, misuse somebody's pronoun for the LGBTQ X04 symbol for boron dash question mark community, and find yourself on the outside looking in.
Well, and here's the thing, Bill, that is constitutionally protected speech.
Mm-hmm.
However, these universities have their own codes of conduct. And if you listen to Elise Stefanik's questioning, that's what she questioned on. She did not question anything on the First Amendment. It was based off their code of conduct that they have for their individual schools and universities. So I think that that's an important distinction, because I also I believe in free speech. But if you're going to have these things on campus where you can't say the wrong pronoun, there are a list of things that you can't say, then you need to. You have to abide by it.
And as you know, college, you don't know everybody. So how do you know what their pronoun is in the first place? Should they have it stenciled on their head?
Maybe they're handing out name tags. I don't know. That's what you get in your welcome packet.
But again, Elise Stefanik read them the Riot Act when Harvard unanimously by the board of directors decided to keep President gay. So apparently it's okay now to lie. It's now okay to plagiarize. In fact, I saw, Brittany, where they're allowing her to go back and correct all of her plagiarism in her dissertation.
Well, I did see something on the Babylon Bee that said Gay gave a speech about the plagiarism with the "I have a dream."
Yeah.
So
gave the "I have a dream" speech.
Yes. So and on that note, the CEO of Babylon Bee will be here on February 8th for the Savannah Care Center fundraiser. So hopefully you guys.
Last year, Rob Lowe and last year, Kirk Cameron. And this year, I've been watching Rob Lowe's special on the Boston Tea Party. It's really, really good. Highly recommend it to you. But this year, the Babylon Bee editor. Way to go.
Seth Dillon, it will be a really good time had by all. So make sure that you get your tickets now. They are on sale at the Savannah Care Center website. So make sure you check that out. It's February 8th, and it should be, again,
circle that date on your calendar. And coming up next.
Well, we will be talking about what's going on in Iowa.
Woo! Hot damn. Let's stay real.
When you're looking to buy a business or sell a business, the experts at Best Business Brokers have you covered. Whether you're ready to cash in on your years of hard work or you're taking that first step in buying a business of your own, they're here to guide you through the process and make sure you get the best outcome possible. By having Best Business Brokers assist you when you buy a business or sell a business, they handle the legwork of the intricate process. This ensures a smooth transition of ownership, allowing you to get to work immediately or receive payment for your business as soon as possible. With base operations in Savannah and Charleston, they service all of Georgia and South Carolina. If you're considering starting a business here, the mild winters and 5-tiered economic areas make these the perfect places to do so. If you're ready to buy a business or sell a business, then you're ready to contact Best Business Brokers. Visit their website at b3brokers.com or call at 912-349-0940.
Foxy Loxy, Coffee Fox, and Henny Penny, making life better for Savannahans with their kolaches, tacos, coffees. They're just amazing. Buy local and keep the torch lit.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Going down the home stretch here on this Wednesday morning, hump day. Glad to have you aboard. Continue to be 44 degrees outside and clear skies. Looking nice.
Grab a jacket or a coat or a scarf.
Feels like fall. We've had climate change.
Yes. And Mary McCann Hybrier is with us this morning, and she says changing cultural norms and language manipulation is classic Marxism.
Yep.
It sure is, and these people have it down pat on what they're doing, and they have manipulated, I think, a whole generation into believing that communism is good and capitalism is evil, and we're seeing that play out on all the college campuses. Dave Portnoy, who owns Barstool Sports, he said that he will not hire anyone from those 3 schools until all the presidents resign.
So he's not going to be hiring anybody from those schools anytime soon.
No. Well, I believe UPenn he will, because they had not only the president but also the chair of the board resigned. So I believe that they're off the hook. But he said that he actually has employees that came from those schools that work for him, but they are grandfathered in. But no longer will he hire from there until that happens. I think more people need to take a stand, because guess what? That Harvard degree is going to be worth nothing, and you guys pay a lot of money for that degree. So quite interesting what's going on. But we do have what's going on in Iowa. I guess anyone can apply to have a booth at the state capitol up there.
Can't have a major scene anymore on state grounds around here, but apparently Satan is getting hold.
You know, over the weekend, the Satanic Temple of Iowa came in, put up their display. A spokesperson for the Iowa Department of Administrative Services said there's a procedure to apply for getting to have your display there, and they followed that and met the guidelines for that. But this display is located near the east door by the stairs on the first floor. Now today, members of the Satanic Temple of Iowa were on hand with the display. They declined to do an interview. They told me to refer to the Satanic Temple website. And on that national site, the main issues they are promoting are abortion as a religious right and establishing after-school Satan clubs.
Okay, so abortion so the Satanists say that abortion is a religious right. What does that tell you?
They're doing rituals? I mean, very odd, Bill.
Why wouldn't they talk to the press?
I don't know. That's a great question. They probably don't want to answer any questions. I think there's a lot of these like secret groups.
You'd think they want the publicity.
They got the publicity.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd think they want to, make a statement to enhance their cause.
Maybe it's the mystery that will get people to join, Bill. You don't know.
Yeah.
I do think that this is kind of where we're at in our culture. Why is this okay? But they're pulling Thomas Jefferson statues out of a lot of capitals and getting rid of a lot of the statues of our forefathers. So what are we doing?
There's still a movement to erase the portraits on Mount Rushmore.
Absolutely ridiculous. These people are out of control.
Yeah, one of my friends told me the other day that she was sitting in front of some students who were discussing this. I don't remember where she was, but she heard the students talking about how we needed to get rid of those faces on Mount Rushmore because of the Civil War and what they were doing. She said, "Have you folks studied history? What did Thomas Jefferson and George Washington have to do with the Civil War? They were dead almost 100 years before it started. The only person up there that had anything to do with the Civil War was Abraham Lincoln, who freed the slaves. And they're trying to besmirch him for that. All sorts of things are coming out trying to besmirch him for that. And the other is Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt might have been born around the Civil War, but he didn't have anything to do with it. He was just a widow kid if he was alive at all."
Well, I think the biggest thing is there are white men in history that have been upheld as heroes or as doing great things, and that is not allowed.
And for
you
freedom.
cannot have that.
Yeah. In fact, right after 9/11, it took how long did it take to build the Empire State Building?
3 years?
Yeah, a little less than 3 years. It was built during the Depression. It was built in less than 3 years, and it came in under budget. And it's still there. It's still standing. Plane hit it one time. Didn't knock it down. It was a small plane, but still, little 2-engine job from World War II type. But still standing. All fixed. But how long did it take to build the new, which I think is a beautiful building, the new World Trade Center?
I think it was over a decade, wasn't it?
Exactly. Every time we turned around, there was something, and a lot of it had to do with racial issues of some sort. But they wanted to put a statue up. Remember the picture of the 3 firemen who were raising the American flag on part of the rubble from 9/11, and they were going to put up a statue, and they blocked that for a long time because all three of those guys were white. And because they were all white, we couldn't put up this statue to them. And these people are going down, tearing down these statues these days, not knowing why they're there or what they're for. And we hear all the, if you hear anybody chanting about Israel, any of these pro-Hamas rallies, saying from the river to the sea, just ask them, what river, what sea, and evaluate that answer, and tell me about the blank stare you get on that. In fact, somebody said that they heard one guy saying from the river to the mountains or something of that nature. It was like, I'm sorry, what?
Well, here's the thing. We have not, again, a lot of things go back to the public school system. We have not raised critical thinkers. We have raised a bunch of people that will follow into the abyss whoever is telling them what they need to say, and they don't ask questions. They just do as they're told.
And what's going on in any of our schools? George Washington University Medical School has come out saying that Hamas deserves a right to exist or something like that. The George Washington University Medical School, what has that got to do with anything?
I know.
What's that got to do with teaching urology or brain surgery or anything else?
Why does everyone think they're so important that they need to comment on everything?
Exactly.
It's so bizarre to me.
I don't care if Coca-Cola, what their stand is. Just make the damn product, okay? I don't care about Delta Airlines and what they think about critical race theory or anything else. And have you heard? Of course, because of diversity, they're trying to say we need more air traffic controllers, but we need more diversity.
Yeah, and that's why we've also had a lot of close calls lately on a lot of these, landings and takeoffs, because guess what? People are in positions they are not qualified to be in because of this DEI phenomenon that we have in this country. Lizzie Warren says the new heroes are fentanyl addicts who die from an overdose. That's the thing. Here's the other thing about the fentanyl overdoses. They're not all drug addicts. Sometimes it's as innocent as a kid, thinking that he's taken something else, takes it, and he's dead or she's dead. And, we're allowing this to happen. This country does not care about its citizens. The government does not care about its citizens. And we're seeing that play out everywhere.
And what's the prime directive of government? To protect its citizens. And yet we're letting 13,000 illegal aliens come in a day without any vetting whatsoever. Who are these people? We see numerous. I had a good friend down in Brunswick that was killed by an illegal alien drunk driver about 10 years ago. Wonderful lady, was T-boned by this guy that ran through a stop sign. And that's just one of thousands of examples. Sean Hannity and others have had on from many occasions of parents who have lost children to illegal aliens and are getting no sympathy from the government whatsoever, no compensation, no call of apology or anything along those lines. And it is disgusting. And the fact that we are putting our own people in danger, all these people dying of fentanyl, all the fentanyl that's coming in, and the numbers are staggering about how much fentanyl is coming in. They said, that just one of these packages could kill everybody in America. I mean, how deadly and dangerous this stuff is. And yet we're letting this stuff come in by the freaking carload. And the blood is on Joe Biden's hands.
I think it's the whole administration. I'm not just going to blame one person. All of these people are guilty.
Yeah,
all of them.
I didn't mean to single him out necessarily, but his administration and Democrats especially. The blood is on your hands. You vote for a Democrat, the pox on both your houses.
Well, and on a cheerier note, because we like to leave on a cheerier note, I will warn you there is an F word in this clip. However, Pitbull, who he comes from a country that, he's telling Democrats you should go there to learn some appreciation.
Yeah.
Like the United States of America, may God bless you, but fuck you at the same time. If you don't like the United States of America, go back to the countries that we the fuck from, and you'll see how much you appreciate the United States of America.
Yeah, I preached that on the radio many times, and I actually said it one morning, and somebody got their shorts in a wad and called up as the closest I ever came to getting fired. Called on the carpet for saying that I was saying I was saying that blacks should be shipped back to Africa. I said, no, I didn't say that. I said that they need to go over there, get a dose of what it's like to be, and find out just how good it is here. Just get a dose of perspective. I didn't say ship all the blacks back to Africa, but that's the way they interpreted it. People hear what they want to hear. It's pathetic.
Well, and here's the thing. You have all of these people that have come into the country legally, and they come from these communist countries.
Mm-hmm.
They understand how great America is. I was actually talking to my brother.
And they see the road we're going down, and said that's what we escaped from.
Yes, when I was talking to my brother, and he's talking about, going to another country, and I said, there is nowhere else. And he's like, well, America's not that great. I said, okay, what other country do you know that allows you to have guns?
Pick a better country.
Well, that's the thing. The Second Amendment makes us way better than anywhere else because we can at least protect ourselves. You look what happened in Australia, New Zealand, all of these countries that don't allow you to have guns but are, they're supposedly like us. No, they are not.
If you do study World War II history, look at what one of the Japanese generals said when they said, well, why haven't you made landfall? Why don't you attack the mainland rather than just, rather these sea battles and air battles? And he said, are you kidding? Everybody's got a gun.
Yep, it makes a difference.
Mm-hmm. Sure does.
So people still love this country, and we hope that you guys will love us enough to support us. So make sure you go to
Sure do need your help.
thelocalspin.com. That is thelocalspin.com. You can become a member. You can donate to us, and you can also advertise.
Yeah, you need a tax write-off. You need a write-off for something. Hey, we're the place.
Yeah, so make sure you go and support us. Otherwise, next week will be our last week here. So we hope that you guys will go to thelocalspin.com, and we will see you guys tomorrow.